Well, hello everyone. My name is Joe. I'm the artistic director for Austin Classical Guitar, and I'm thrilled to be here with Thomas Flippin, composer and guitarist. Thomas will be playing a concert for us on August 1st, Saturday night, very soon on our summer series. And thank you for being with us, Thomas. This is awesome.
Thank you very much for having me, Joe.
So tell me, how are you doing and where are you coming from?
I'm doing all right, all things considered, with the state of the world. I'm in Milford, Connecticut right now, close to the beach, and right now my wife and I are here without our 6-year-old daughter because the grandparents are taking care of her. So this is like the first time in 130 days that we've not been responsible for another human being for 24 hours a day. So you can see me glowing a little bit.
Wow. Wow. Well, thanks for sitting down with us and having sharing some ideas, sharing some thoughts about your work and what you've been doing. We're excited to introduce you to our audience and excited that this is a way for us to get to know you. Um, so, Austin Classical Guitar spends a lot of time and a lot of energy using music as a medium to create good. We try very hard with our energy to make positive effects on our community and our environment. And I really wanted to ask you the question that we ask ourselves all the time, which is, what good can music do? And I know your work as a composer, your work with Duo Noir, and I'm curious if there's anything in your world that kind of a story you'd like to share about what good can music do in your experience.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's so many obvious things that music does to better the world. I mean, there's at the most basic level, there's just teaching people dexterity with their hands. There's the correlation between studying music and motor skills and doing better in school, being able to think abstractly. But I think on a more fundamental level for me, just seeing some of the students I've taught and the schools that I visited, is just seeing the way it helps to develop a well-rounded human being who has to struggle with solving the problems of music, dealing with technical challenges, being forced to see progress over time through hard work. I think it's just a big character builder. And then I think there's also a really great benefit in the world that when you study music, you're forced to think about beauty and kind of like the truth of the sound. Which is such an abstract thing that you don't really get in a lot of other academic spaces. Like you just sit in a room with your teacher and think about, how can I make this sound wave the most beautiful thing? How can I use that to express myself, to move somebody else who might be in a bad place? And that's just incredible. And one story that comes to mind, when I was first starting out as a teacher, I had a student whose their parent died. And then, it was like a really hard time in their lives. They were only like maybe 9 years old, and they dropped out of the school. And then they started living with their grandparent. And within after that summer, they came back and kept studying with me. They kept studying music because it was such an important part of their life. And I've had several students like that. I've had students whose parents have separated, whose parents were sent to jail. Like I've had some really like remarkable stories, and it's the music that is like the most profoundly important thing in their lives as adolescents. And I think that's
Wow.
something to cherish. And I'm really proud to be able to kind of instill that musical education through them and support organizations like yours that, have such a profound impact on the communities that they serve through music. So.
Wow, Thomas, I'm so curious for you, is there a moment, like an early memory, where you got to participate in creating beauty? Was there something that you remember from your childhood that was like, whoa, that is a thing, and I want to be part of that thing?
Absolutely. I think we all have these stories as professional musicians. One of my early music memories, I was in second grade in a school in New Jersey, and there was a class visitor who came in. And we had this old, like ridiculous upright piano that was, badly out of tune and neglected. But she came in there and she was a pianist, and she just came to talk to us about the piano. And then she, played some things, explained how the piano worked, showed us the inside of it. So we all got to kind of take a peek and see it in action. And then she taught us how to play the beginning of that famous minuet in G that used to be attributed to Bach, but is now recognized as being by Christian Petzold. And then she taught me how to play like the first 5 notes of it. And then to see that I could like manipulate the sound and do this thing with like a little bit of practice and work at it, you know, over like the course of a minute was remarkable to me. And I still, you know, all these years later, still remember that moment very vividly as kind of like, whoa, what is this thing in this world that we live in that I can like participate in and like do these awesome things, you know?
Wow. Well, I love, that's a beautiful story. I love that you said the word participate. And I often think about people who are listening, people who are part of the audience, and how they're the best experiences that they might have in a concert is when they are totally participating. And so I was wondering, is there something some advice maybe that you can give to an audience member who's listening to a piece for the very first time, who's experiencing it for the very first time, like we often do in classical guitar concerts?
Okay, I would probably go towards 3 things. The first thing I'd say is, don't be afraid when you hear a piece of music that's new. When you find out that it's new music, you know, approach it with an open mind. But on a more serious note, I'd say my mother, when I was growing up, always told me when we were talking about music that music should make you picture a story. Like it should make you see some sort of images and kind of be put in a place. And so I really kind of believe that for a lot of pieces. When I'm hearing something, I'm kind of imagine like, what does this feel like? Where would I be if I were listening to this? You know, like if I were dreaming this, where would I be? What would the dream look like? So when I hear a piece of music, I'm trying to imagine like what situation would I hear this music in? Would it be at a wedding? Would it be at a funeral? Would it be a piece about war? Or, you know, for example, I'm going to play a piece at the concert about, you know, being a commuter on the New York City subway system. And, you know, like it's a very specific thing, but I want people to kind of be able to feel like a space and imagine something. And then I think the last thing I'd say is when I go to a concert these days, when I hear a piece of music, I'm really trying to hear the performer's kind of essence. Like you can use the word soul if you want. Like when I'm listening, I'm watching the performer and trying to see like, what is their personality? Like, who is this person? What is their life experience? What are they trying to convey through their face and their body movements? Like, why are they playing the note that way? Like all these sorts of things. And I really feel like that's my favorite part of going to a concert is like seeing a human being in their totality, like representing themselves and their life experience in a way no one else can. And just kind of trying to relate to them on that human level, you know, like through this shared experience that they're conveying to me. You know, like a conversation almost. So when I hear a piece of music for the first time, I want to really feel like I'm part of a conversation, that the performer is telling me something. And it's up to me to like kind of see all the subtleties of that message that they're sending.
How beautifully said. I couldn't agree more. That's wonderful. So, well then, I guess maybe, is there anything else that we should keep in mind? Is there a theme for the concert you're going to play for us? Is there some ideas? Is there a larger story? Or is there something that we should look forward to participating in your concert?
Well, I'll give the light answer, and then if it's okay, I'll give a little heavier answer.
I love it.
Okay, so the light answer, I think the thing that's going to be the most fun is that I've got this giant instrument behind me called the theorbo, and it's from the 1600s, but I'm going to be playing it with modern electronics and just doing some far out fun stuff, playing it in a way that's really not commonly done. And I think that'll be like a really fun moment to look forward to in the concert.
Thomas, so people can imagine how tall if it stood like it's standing behind you, how tall is it reach?
It is taller than me, and I am 6'2" and a half. I'm going to claim the half. I'm 6'2" and a half, and this thing is probably 6'4". So it's just ridiculously tall, and that makes traveling with it a complete nightmare. But I'm looking forward to playing this in all its monstrous 14 strings. But then more than that, the theme of this concert. A few weeks ago, the Guitar Foundation of America had its convention, and we had a discussion on, like the state of society right now in our country. And, there's like a lot of music organizations are trying to figure out like, how can we respond to the dearth of African-American composers represented and performers, and just how can we reimagine our society? And I I feel like for me, this concert, when I was thinking of the program and what people could hear and what of all the pieces, like what should I play? I'm trying to imagine a world of like a concert for classical guitar that's really inclusive of everyone. So there's pieces by European composers, there's pieces by people from Latin America, there's a piece that I arranged by this African-American woman composer from the 50s, Florence Price. There's my own music. And then and there's the music of this gay American composer, Lou Harrison, who wrote so much far out music, drawing from influences from the East. So it's just like such a unifying theme that I think that to show like we can all work together. And if we all work together, we can kind of make some amazing sounds and like have a really amazing sonic journey. So that's the underlying premise for some of the choices I made about the pieces to kind of unite us all sonically.
What a privilege. I'm so excited for this concert. Thank you. I can't wait to hear your music and all the music that you're going to be presenting. It's going to be beautiful, and we're recording this a couple days before, and this will air right before your concert. So I can't wait in the future to see your concert in about a few minutes. That's wonderful. So August 1st, Thomas Flippin, presented by Austin Classical Guitar. If you'd like some more information, go to austinclassicalguitar.org. Thank you so much, Thomas.
Thank you for having me.